Okay, so the first thing about CEO is it has a new account system, and this is what allows us to keep both CEO2 and CEO3 running at the same time. So the cool thing is that you'll be able to use both CEO2 and CEO3 at the same time, should you choose to do that, or you can always, go back and forth. So the new account system here, and this one's just for we'll sort of look at this for our admin users. So we'll look at this for our admin users here. I'm just going to log in real quick here. Let's see. Okay. I'm logging into CO3 here, which we'll look at in just a second, but I do want to bring up the account system. So if you happen to be an admin user and you manage users on behalf of your publication, this is how we sort of handle users now. So let's change this to the demo, which is there. So you can handle users much more easily now in CEO3. You can belong to multiple publications. So if you have multiple CEO instances, multiple publications, everyone can be managed in a single place. You can also invite users. So this is the creation of users. We can invite users en masse, add them to different groups, different publications, and manage them that way. All in all, this should make things considerably easier to manage when you are starting up at a semester or anything like that. Additionally, you can select multiple users and then send them login links so they can reset their password should they want to. It's super helpful if you have people who are gone over, let's say, the summer, and they've forgotten their passwords or something like that. You can just easily send them along. All right, close that out. And let's go to the demo site. All right. This is the basically the landing page in CEO3. Obviously, it looks quite a bit different, but still pretty similar in that you still have your navigation over the side, you still have search up here on the top, and your content here. And then just like when you initially log into CEO, you see everything, you're going to see everything here. The difference is that you don't see articles, media, pages, that kind of thing. That's all integrated here, so we can view things, multiple things, however we need to view them, basically, is the idea here. So I've got my publication status here. I've got my type of content here, workflow statuses, and collections, which we'll talk about. So if I just wanted to view, say, scheduled, well, there's nothing scheduled, published, articles, there I go, right? If I want just media or images, let's say, and then I can switch it over to a grid view, which gives me obviously a better overview of the media in there. There's me. I can always reset, go back, but let's keep this on draft and articles. All right. So let me just check my notes here. Some of the major interface beats here are there's one search bar again. That could be kind of confusing in CEO, which had two. We also have integrated help everywhere. So if I hit this little button next to my picture, I'm going to get the slide out help. And that top one always goes to the home here, but if we hit that, we can look at all of the different topics. I can also pop it out into a new window here. We also have help buttons on almost every page, and these link directly to whatever we happen to be looking at. So right now we're looking at managing content. So this is what we're going to see. There are also feedback buttons in a number of places. You can see there's one up here. There's one here, and I think we removed the one on the bottom. Yeah. But there are also feedback options within the help in a number of places. So if you run into trouble, you have some comments, you have some feedback that you want to give. They're littered all over the place. So we do encourage you to use those. The last thing is CEO3 is, hopefully this pops up, much more mobile optimized now. You should be seeing a mobile view here. The buttons are obviously much larger to make things easier to tap on, and all of that fun stuff, and all of the options are still there. So welcome to 2006 CEO. Yay. All right. We talk about those. So when we're moving through CEO here, earlier versions of CEO, you could just click on anywhere on here to view it. Now you actually have to click on the titles of things, and this makes it easier to do multiple selection states. So that way we can select multiple things, and we can publish, unpublish, tag, set their workflow, or add them to collections. Again, we'll talk about collections in just a sec. Hopefully making that easier to manage large amounts of content. When we are moving through CEO, it is still keeping track of things that I'm editing. And if I go anywhere and come back, we can see that it remembered where I was, that I was viewing draft articles. So those search states are maintained across the entire platform there. So let's talk about collections here, because this is one of the new things. So normally, a lot of publications have different sort of content features that they use for, let's say you've got a page that you use to track galleries for your staff page, or you've got a gallery of art that you use on a regular basis. This is where collections come in. So I can, let's say I've got a page. Let's look at pages. Let's see what I have here. So let's see, we've got our about page here. And we want to make sure, this thing doesn't get updated very often, but we want to make sure that it is easily accessible. So I can take my page and I can add it to a collection, and we'll say site management, and we will create that collection. And now that page will be in that collection. And that's not what I meant to do. I meant to click here. You can see that my site management collection is here. So this allows me to sort of keep track of static things, important things, things that may not necessarily go into a specific workflow or a specific status. It's just sort of buckets, I guess, for me to put content in, and they don't really impact the front end of the site. They are just for managing your content here. Okay, so the biggest change you're going to see is editing your content, really, and that's what we're all here for. So let's go new article. I can go, I can create an article here. Let's go back here. I can either just click new article. I've got the drop down here where I can do an article, or I can use the command palette and I can say command K, new article. There I go. Okay. Again, we are similar yet very different from current CEO. So let's just take a look at some of these major interface speeds here. All of the toolbar buttons have moved. You can see delete is up here now where it should be instead of all the way down here. We've also tried to optimize some of the space and usage to make things a bit more obvious now. So dominant media is up here instead of all the way down here. Your title and slug and all of that fun stuff is right up top. So let's create a new article here. I'm just going to call this is my demo article. You see there's a number of spots where we put in little help features and tell you about how things work as you're working through. But let's put some Ipsum text here. Yes, the editor is different. We'll do that in just a second. So I'm gonna save. All right, so we've saved. So once we've saved, we've obviously got our slug and our URL, just like we did before. Let's add some media. So I'm just going to click there. And just like current CEO, we've got this little picker that comes up. And we can really sort through anything over here. We can search content, paginate, and we also have access to collections here. Let's just put this guy in. We've got our photo here, and you'll notice that it immediately tells us that this is a draft, and it gives us the options to either remove or edit it. We added this in here because there's a lot of confusion about why certain things don't show up with images. Most of the time, if an image isn't showing up properly, it's because it is not published. Let's just save that real quick. So we can see here, just like before, we've got our content and our abstract, but we also have these tabs up here, which move a lot of the sort of extra stuff out of the way. So we've got our meta properties here. So this is where our subhead, preview only, all of that fun stuff if you use that. We also have our SEO box is here. This will allow us to override any of these things. So CEO will automatically use your title, obviously, for your contents title. But if you want to override that, you can override that here. We can also preview what they look like. So let's, I don't know, let's just do the Facebook card. So we can see that in this case, we're just pulling in the title, and we don't actually have a description because we haven't put one in. Useful. We also have the asset manager. DAM is a digital asset manager. And you can see we've got a few things in here. Excuse me, a few things in here that were in the CEO interface before, but were a little harder to find. So since we're looking at content or text content here, we've got our text keywords and the things that CEO thinks are related, which are pretty funny because they're all, this is the title, this is test title, all that. Siblings are items that were uploaded at the same time. Let's do that in just a sec. And then we can also see what collections things belong to. So that's pretty helpful. Copy desk is under development right now. So there is nothing there. All right. Go back to content. So brand new editor and CEO. One of the major goals with CEO has been to de-emphasize a lot of the print stuff. So some of the problems that we've had in the past, or some of the issues people may have experienced with the editor, are because the editor needs to support print publications too. We haven't removed that, obviously. We've just de-emphasized it, and we've made the editor far more sort of design and layout friendly. So some of the features of this editor, we can see that obviously it is considerably different, but you've got your standard, editor features over here. We also have Grammarly integrated. I don't know if Grammarly is going to find anything in all this Ipsum text, but we'll look at another one later. But Grammarly does check your content. You can disable this globally if you choose not to use it. It can be just turned off. We still have the CQs and all that fun stuff. But in addition to all of that, you also have the block editor here, which allows us to insert, certain content blocks. So we've got much better support for tables in there. We can modify those as we choose. We also have, get out of there. You've got grids, so we can do multiple layouts as far as grids here. So this is great, especially for pages, because it allows us to have far more control over the design. And these are all mobile optimized, so your columns will reorder and reorient themselves automatically based on your viewport width. And then our friend embed media. Obviously, we're back here. Same view as attachment and same capabilities as far as what it supports, but much better as far as resizing and managing alignments and outsets and insets, so I can much more easily wrap this image. I can, let's see here, we want to edit the alt tags. So we can actually go in here, we can hit these little guys here. This gives us a code view, which is finally back. And I can override the alt tag in here, or obviously update the alt tag in CEO, which we'll look at in just a second. One of the things you'll notice is when you're clicking on any of these blocks here, you get this little sort of bar on the side. This is great for, we can move things around, delete, duplicate, or go in and edit the HTML directly, should we want to. That was not a thing that was available before for a variety of reasons. We can also do, oops, no, I don't want to leave. If we just select the article itself, you can see it, how it would likely appear in a mobile view. We can edit the entire HTML of the object if we want to. And nope, don't want to go plain. We also have something called templates. And so we just have a few example templates in here, but we can actually just, you can have a layout that's already set up. These can be customized per client, that allows you to just sort of create a layout that people can go in and then edit later. They're all fairly simple, but we think it's pretty useful. So I'm gonna undo out of that because I don't want that there. And we're gonna delete that and save it. You'll notice that up here you've got save and check-in and discard changes. There is no, you don't see a check-in button anymore because that was confusing to people. So we tried to be much more obvious about when things are changing now. So you've got save, check-in, and discard. All right. Let's see here, templates. Yep. We also have either things that people tend to use. We try to push those up to the top. So now you've got your exports up here. You can still do your InDesign and copy, and then your history and audit log are all there. We've also tried to make publishing clearer. So you've got your wait here, you've got your publish. You can either just publish now, excuse me, or schedule into the future, which is much easier now. So now we can just do, let's say this is going to be on the 21st at I don't know, 12 a.m. Yeah, that's fine. So now it is pending. All right. One of the cool things you can do now is we have a, I'm in Google Docs here. Excuse me. We have a plugin now for Google Docs that will allow you to, I'm just going to set a title. This is and I can actually go open this up, connect to CEO. Going to ask me to, it's going to deny me apparently, because that's fun. What do we? Oh Lord. Why you gotta be like this, Google? There it is. This actually allows me to find the CEO. So I'm just gonna click that. Take a second. Why you gotta be like this, Google? There it goes. So if I go back to my content here, I should see my new item. This is from Google Docs, and it just pushes my my item from Google Docs into CEO. Now this is a one-way and it is manual. So anytime you want to update it, if I want to put in another graph here, I do just have to hit send the CEO again. And it should update. Let's give that a chance to complete, excuse me. We'll go back out, go back in, and we should see our new paragraph. There it is. So we think that's pretty cool. And that's just one of the new big features in CEO3. All right, let's look at uploading media here. So I'm gonna open up my test files. No, that is not how that works. Test. Oh my word. Test files. There we go. And then we get my standard upload example files. Frank and Sophie. So when I upload, you can see there are a few options here. One is we can group uploads into a brand new gallery, and we can also automatically publish everything we're uploading. So I'm going to leave publish uploads checked. Now we just a quick note. We completely rebuilt the uploader. So it is faster and more consistent, and you can upload larger files and more of them in a single shot now. We completely rebuilt that from the ground up. So hopefully people have much better experiences with that. So let's go ahead and upload that. Just gonna take a second there. There it goes. So we can see it pulled out the title and the caption as it currently does. And then here's Frank, possibly Sainsbury. And we're just gonna skip that. Go back to the content. And there they are. We've got, excuse me, here's Frank and Sophie. So let's change this to a grid view so we can see them there. So if I go into Frank here, there's Frank. Again, we can see pulled in the title and the caption. Now, we've properly renamed the inputs on the various pages. So you can see on on articles, you would have had content and caption. In media, we now have caption and alt text. So that way, that is a bit more clear than it used to be. Just like articles, you've got your meta and you've got your asset manager. So you can see here, when we upload this, it just pulled in a little bit of the metadata. There wasn't much metadata in there because it stripped it out. We can see that it pulled up the item that it was uploaded with and the keywords, excuse me, the keywords that it found in the image itself, running it through sort of machine learning. And these are all links because they're all searchable. We'll look at that momentarily. Much like, just like before, you've got your workflows, you've got your tags, authors, captions, which we looked at, and then we can edit our preview here. We can either edit it in line, or if I hit load here, this will allow me to select a preview to replace it with. So if I hit upload, and then it should update from there. I'm just going to close that. Let's see. Do all that. One thing I should mention is that people did not realize in the past that the abstract was the alt text for an article. If you did not know that, abstracts are the alt text for articles. But we updated that here, and then we just have some links on why that's important. All right. Let's we're just going to discard any changes there. And so let's look at a couple of the other things in here. So we've got content, and then containers are sections, basically. They're just what sections have always been called. When I go to create a new section, it's going to look exactly the same as it did before. So let's look at the search and the asset manager. So you can see there's my collection. So I can just open that up right away from the search page. But we've got the search is considerably more robust now. We've got our types. You can search by author, tag the last person to touch it, or actually any person that touched an article. Let's see if Sparty Cubeman. Sparty Cubeman. See what. So these are the things that the test user, Sparty Cubeman, has edited recently. Workflow, publication created, status. We can look at all of the EXIF or IPTC data, and we can search for what the machine learning system has pulled out of the image, which is pretty useful. We can also from here, just like we could in the dashboard view, we can add items to collections, either existing collections or create a new one. So that allows us, or that helps us to group things more consistently. And just like everything else, you've got your little help button here. And this one's going to go over searching and how the search works and all those little bits and pieces, and usually full of random dad jokes because I think I'm funny. Yeah. So planning, if you happen to use planning, the assignments and all of that stuff, there's a lot of hopefully useful items in here. We've got you've got your agenda view here, the full list view. We can sort by status, anything, viewing all assignments or anything that is either assigned to me or I've been mentioned in. And then you've got your workflows. We also have calendar feeds here. So you can copy out the calendar feed of just your assignments or all assignments and import those into your calendar system. And actually, if you click there, it goes over how to add them in the various platforms. I think that's pretty useful. We've pulled tags and authors out of settings, so that way they're right there and much easier. Obviously, this is the demo site there, so there aren't a ton of tags, but we've made it much easier to activate and deactivate tags. So active tags show up when you search for them, inactive tags, deactive. Inactive tags do not. They still work, but when you're looking for a tag for something, they won't appear. Authors. Same with authors. We've got active and inactive authors. The activity, so inactive authors, again, won't show up when you search. Sometimes it does affect the front page, or not the front page, your front end site, depending on how you're using authors. It will never remove, obviously, an author from an article. They will always appear. We can also add a bunch of authors at any time. You just either comma separated or one per line. You can add a bunch of authors and add them that way. We've also got, this is all pretty standard. If you've dealt with authors, you've probably seen this, but we also have information on uploading headshots. There's Frank again. Adding headshots and social media properties and all of that for authors. So trying to make that a lot easier. One of the last big changes here is going to be in settings. So we talked before about Grammarly. So there's that. We've got our support sheet here, or our support page here, which links to your tag sheet, so that doesn't get lost, and any sort of documents that your institution might require. Access management, send to CEO, which we looked at. Workflows, and one of the new things is automation. So you can, if I go in here, I'm going to delete this one because I don't want it to look confusing right now. Okay, so we've got a new automation here, and we can say we can have it do things automatically depending on what happens to a piece of content. So we can either transition from workflow transitions, if it's published, if it's created, updated, or a meta property has been updated. So let's say we want this on transition, and we want just articles when they move from anything, we'll just leave that blank, to ready to publish. We can just say publish. And that way, things can be changed automatically depending on the workflow status if we wanted to. We can also send emails to specific users, set tags, and call webhooks. So this is really useful for, uh, let's say, creating a, um, what am I thinking? A Slack bot with Zapier, which if you go into help here, we should have. I'll go into oh my gosh, sorry. Yeah, couldn't see it underneath the bar. So if I go into settings, I can actually go into automation examples and let's say Slack via Zapier. And this actually gives us a whole rundown on how to set that up. And it works pretty well. We think it's pretty cool. There are more actions and automations coming as we continue to update that. Again, provide feedback anytime you have a question. There are also links in here. And if we look under, if we look under our icon here, or our graphic, we also have link to help, the shortcut list, the getting started, and latest updates there, which all open up that sidebar too. I think that might be it. Those are all the biggest. Let's reset that because we want to see everything. Those are sort of the big interface beats that are available in CEO. One thing is let's look at, I can actually, so we are on demo here. So you'll notice that the URL is just CEO3.GetSNWorks. One thing we found that people did find confusing was they would go, you might Google search for CEO login and you'll get a CEO login page that looks like the thing that you always use, but it won't let you in. That's because all the URLs were specific to the publication. So you might have demo.co3, you might have tsn.ceo.getsnworks. So now it's just CO3. Hopefully that makes things a little easier, but let's go ahead and click that switch back, which is going to bring me to demo.co. And we've got this new login here. So once we're connected with CO3, this login does not work anymore. You have to use this green button. This is part of the new account system and how we've made it so that way you can easily log in with both. So I'm just going to click that and it should, because I have logged in recently, it recognizes that and it's like, okay, just go right in. And so you can see here, these are the things that I just uploaded. Here's the item from Google Docs. This is the demo article we just created, the About Us that we added to the collection. And all of this is just same as it was before. It's all here. If there's something that isn't available in CEO3, we can always make it happen here. I can edit things back and forth. We generally don't recommend editing content between CEO2 and CEO3 on the same article because you will lose some things because they do handle some things a little differently. And yeah, so that's all available there. And I think that is about it. So I'm going to stop the recording now. And if anyone has any questions, we will open up the floor to that. So let me stop that.